So welcome, Anne.
Thank you so much.
Yay. It's always great to have them live in the studio.
It really is.
It's a whole other dimension to the interview.
Yeah, and she honestly, you didn't even hear or see her get in that
she
chair.
just floated right in.
She just floated right in during the channel. It was beautiful.
Well, Ann Tucker is a channel for information and healing from the angelic realm, as Monica said, helping awakening souls take advantage of this time of rapid growth and ascension. As a trance channel, Ann enters a meditative state where she allows angels to speak directly through her.
Now, the practical, the poetic, and the inspiring messages that she brings through, it offers angelic guidance and healing frequencies that help to prepare us and usher us through the planetary shift in consciousness. So Anne shares these messages weekly on her popular YouTube channel to over 18,000 subscribers and increasing. And hopefully you're going to be one of those subscribers before the end of the evening. So Anne, we are delighted. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
Absolutely. And so obviously my first question is, how did you start channeling the angels? How did this unfold for you?
Oh gosh, it was. I started out. I was a healer. It started out with clairsentience, claircognizance, so I could see things, I could intuit things, and I was working as a full-time healer. But at the time that the angels first came in, I went in to do my regular meditation. I sat in my regular spot, thought everything was going to happen normally, and then all of a sudden I had this enormous pressure that came down on my forehead and on my chest, and it felt literally like someone was sitting on top of me, and I didn't understand what it was. My guides had always come in when I was healing. They always came in through the back, so I'm like, just come in, come in already. Like, what's this? And the pressure was so intense, I literally couldn't breathe. It was, and this happened literally every single time I went to meditate for about 6 months, and then nothing would happen, and I assumed, okay, I'm just going to work with this, breathe through it, like something is going to turn here, there's something changing. So about 6 months later, it finally dawned on me, after 6 months of this crazy, like every time I meditate, I can't breathe, that it dawned on me that they weren't trying to come in, they were trying to pull me up. And so I just opened up my crown and I visualized myself floating up, and zoop, I was straight up. And then I was in a space, I could see myself surrounded by angels, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, it's so wonderful. And I'm like, okay, great, now what's gonna happen next? And then nothing happened. It was crickets. They all just sat there and smiled at me, and just looked at me. And this went on for like 6 months, where I was like, okay, somebody say something, and I was experimenting, like, can you write me a message? Can we imagine a whiteboard, and you're writing to me? Like, I could not figure out what I was supposed to do. So 6 months of this, me going up, and I'd meditate, zoop, I'd be up in 2 seconds, and then nothing. And then finally it dawned on me that I needed to stay down here and raise my awareness up there. I needed to be in both places at once. So I just tried it. It was the confidence to be able to sit down. And at first I said, okay, I'm just going to try it with writing. And I said, okay, just give me a word. And I imagined sort of like a pipe and words coming down one at a time. And I would write the first word down and the second word down. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't involved in the message. So I did this. I just word, wrote it down. I thought, this doesn't make any sense. This is gibberish. I get to the end and I read it, and it was profound. Like, it wasn't just meaningful. It blew my mind. And so that was the beginning, and I did it that way for a while until finally it came through. They said, why don't you just dictate this? So I started dictating it, and then it was a process of conditioning my energy. So they worked on my vocal cords for about 4 months. I couldn't talk for about 4 months. I could talk for about 20 minutes, and then I would lose my voice because they transmit frequencies through my vocal cords. And it took a while in the beginning. When I first started channeling them, it was like being at the bottom of the ocean. It was like a helmet would come over my head to about here, and it was intense pressure. Like, it was painful, physically painful in the beginning to channel them, because you think of them as being light, but the pressure difference is a lot for us to handle. So over time, that got lighter and lighter as I adjusted and learned how to hold the energy. So now I'm in a place where I can feel them when they come in, like it's buzzy, and I can feel a little pressure, but it doesn't hurt anymore. So, which is good.
I love that you talked about it took you a while to get used to that. It was the same for you, Lee, where you said to Kryon, you first got thought groups And then you got
It
the whole
poured in.
It poured in the
There was
45
too
minutes
much.
in one, and you said slow
Yeah.
it down.
Yeah.
Slow it down. I've heard the pressure thing as well.
Yeah.
From other channelers. In my case, and it was so long ago I can't hardly remember. But it truly was. It was too much,
Yeah.
and so I had to slow it down before it would be even interpretable.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So when this happened for you, did you have other guidance that you looked at, or did you go through this completely on your own and just with the guides?
I did have other guidance. So one of the things I have used a lot of my journey is my dreams. So I look at my dreams, and they by looking, I could see in my dreams that I was meant to be trans-channeling. So the symbol for that for me was sleepwalking. Was walking in my sleep. Was okay. You're meant to. This is a symbol for okay. You're meant to be a trans channel. And then other things in terms of along the path, they would guide me, and also in terms of raising my own vibration, in terms of my healing, they would show me things I needed to do, issues I needed to work on, that I could work with the angels to heal them, to help me evolve. So it's never a situation where I'm done. Like I've made a lot of progress, but they never let me sit on my laurels. It's like the minute I get really comfortable with what we're doing and how they're working with me, they boot me out of the nest and they make me grow, and they say, okay, you know that thing that you've been doing that you're so comfortable doing, stop doing that. Now we're going to do something different. So it's amazing, because yes, like all of us are here to serve in our own way, but we're also all here for our own journey. And my journey has been about constantly trying to grow, constantly being pushed past the things that I'm afraid to do. Yeah.
So I think that's a very key point that you just mentioned, because often when we get through something uncomfortable, we want to stop and go back to being comfortable. But really, it's an opportunity to grow and expand. Yeah. So how do you get to that place where you then welcome being uncomfortable?
I don't know if you ever get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think it is, they always say like it doesn't count as courage unless you're actually afraid to do it. Like if you're afraid of something and you do it anyways, that's courage. Mm-hmm. So I think it is really that it's faith. It's faith and trust that it's all going to, like that this is, that you are being guided. And so I think that's so much of my journey through this whole process has been the willingness to let go and allow. And that is 100% the journey for me of being a channel. But I think it's also the lesson that we can take in all ways about how to move into this next state of consciousness. It's about letting go and allowing and being in a state of trust. And so when they say, okay, and it's been big things. It's been leave your marriage. It's been, that way you earn your living, stop doing that. Multiple times. That way you learn to make your living again, stop doing that. And we're going to do something, and we're not going to tell you what the new thing is until you do it. Like it is, and the reason for that is not because they're messing with us, right? It's because we have to free up the energy in order to do something new. That in every time they've told me to stop doing something, it's because I'm ready for a great shift. I'm ready for an expansion, and I have to free up energy in my own system so that I can direct that energy towards strengthening my connection, towards doing whatever the new thing is I'm meant to do. So it's always in kindness, right? It's always for our greatest and highest good. And then there's also the piece that if they told us everything before we did it, it would kind of like spoil a story. Like they want us to be surprised. They want us to have the journey, to have the experience of uncovering things one piece at a time, which I'm grateful for sometimes.
I want to know, in the angelic realm, are they identifying themselves to you?
Yes. Yeah. Well, okay. So that's a trick question, because the first time I channeled them, they gave me a name. Okay. And I did not grow up with any religious background. I didn't. So I didn't know the names of angels or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And they said Uriel. And so, but the way they said it didn't sound like you. It was a weird vowel sound. Yeah. It was like Oriole or something. I couldn't, and I, so I'm trying. It was the cookie. It was like, it was like an Oreo cookie. It was like Sorry. Exactly. Yes. So, they are that sweet. But So I'm trying to Google it and trying to figure out what is this. And but then after that, so they gave me the first time a name, and then after that, they told me that they would only refer to themselves as the angels because they are an essence, and they didn't want me to get attached to identity because our whole journey is supposed to be back to unity. So they want me to practice that in my relationship with them, is to understand them as a consciousness, just like humanity is a consciousness, and to relate to them as they do come through. Like when I channel them, I know the different angels come in, and sometimes it'll be Yeshua, sometimes there'll be other beings that come through. But with the angels, I'll see them differently, but know that they are all one.
I love that. And a question, because Lee had to go through this, and I'm assuming it's applying to you as well. It's one thing to, channel, have the messages and everything is good, but then when you come out of that, you are still washing dishes, doing laundry, all the regular things. Yeah. So how do you integrate? So you have that connection 24/7. Yeah. So how do you do that?
How do you live life? It's I think the thing that is most the coolest part about it is having learned to really try to get out of my head and into my heart. And that's been the challenge for me, because my coping mechanism as a kid was to close my heart and to go into my head and to try to be, like my family valued, being smart was a big thing in my family. That was what of all the kids, that was the thing that was most praised, was being smart. It was not being feeling or being sensitive or any of those things. And so and for we all have our childhood trauma. My way was to close the heart and go into the head. And so through the process of my awakening and the process of my growth was opening the heart, learning to navigate through the heart. So as a channel, it's very much about being in my heart. And so as they're speaking through me, I'm off way far in my right side of my brain. And they're giving me sort of a second track of vision. I'm seeing things, I'm feeling things. It's very heart-centered. And so when I'm going through life, as I really make a practice of trying to always be heart-led, to make my choices always from my heart. And that doesn't mean I don't involve my head, but the head is the servant to the heart, that I let the heart speak. I listen to what feels right to me. So literally all my business decisions, all my life decisions, everything comes from what do I feel? And then the head comes in and says, great, okay, that's what you feel. Let me help you figure out how to make it happen. So in every way, I try very much to be attuned to what I'm feeling. And that affects even how I do the dishes.
Well, I
don't feel it. I'm not doing the dishes tonight.
My heart says no.
I'd
dishes,
like to point
sorry.
out that what Monica said, I have yet to come out of channel and do laundry. It's just, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. You're a channeler of the angelic realm. We would love for you to channel for us.
Yay!
That would
All
be
right,
wonderful.
Fantastic. Well, that one sounds great to me.
All right.
So shall we do it?
Yes.
All right. So I would like to lead everybody through a quick grounding exercise so that you're grounded and ready for the energy to come through. Because as I channel, like I said, I am transmitting frequencies as well. So these frequencies you will be able to feel and experience. So go ahead and close your eyes. Nice deep breath. And drop down from your tailbone a nice thick root that goes down through the floor and down into the ground. And follow it down with your mind as it grows and extends, growing deeper and deeper into the earth. Following it down where it's dark and cool, extending longer and longer. And follow it all the way down to the very, very center of the earth. And when it reaches that center point, feel the root sprout and anchor itself in. And as it does, notice that the root is pulling gently and becoming taut. And now feel as that tautness moves all the way up the root. And now all the way up your spine, anchoring you securely to the earth. And I'll go ahead and bring in the angels. Beginning song, beginning song. We are here to bring you our beginning song, the song of who we are. Angels, 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 essence. We are essence. We are all things that are around yourselves. We are always, always near. You call upon us. You request our name. You speak to us as though we are one soul, one self, and we are always listening. We wish to endow you with the gentle reassurance that we hear you now and always. We wish to speak into the hardship that you are experiencing, to the darkness of your own soul and self, how it does expand in moments of loneliness and separation. And we wish to reassure you now that as you encounter the energies shifting in this realm where you are, you will see us more readily now, feel our presence more accurately. You will become attuned to us in new ways. And we wish to reassure yourselves that on this journey of awakening, as you are experiencing yourselves in the darkest times on the horizon, into the experience of what is heading toward you now, that we are there, that we are with yourselves, that you are always held, that you need only reach forward and toward us to understand yourselves as expanding, as becoming more aligned, and to trust in what does pass, to trust that what is unveiled before you now, though different from what you have been expecting, from what you have experienced, from what you have been shown as this world, that it is for you now. And to let go and surrender where you are, to surrender what has been, to surrender to this new encounter of yourselves, and to know that we are in all things that surround you, that you are held in the peaceful moment with us in every instant. And we ask for yourselves to trust this endowment of grace, where we occupy the space within your heart, where we whisper our belonging to you now, and we wish for yourselves to experience the light that is coming from this place of loving acceptance, from a place of graceful presence, and we are there. We are ready if you have questions to bring.
I would like to ask a question about how we can embody angelic energy in our everyday life.
We thank you. We thank you for this question. We say you are even now embodying this light. It is of yourself. Already you are endowed with this connection. We are of yourself. We are within yourself. We are always surrounding yourself. You are, as we are, of the divine. However, we are the light of the divine. We are the divine light. And you are endowed with the divine spark of the Creator. You are magnetic. You magnify yourself into presence. You create from within. And within that aspect of self, who is light, we are there. And we empower what you are. We take from you the wish which is granted. We take from you the wishful creation, the aspect of self which is exalted in meaning, which will create for yourself the highest and greatest pathway. And we bring towards you an expression of being. We are within and around your very presence and your experience of living. Does this answer your question?
Thank you, yes. And I have one more question. How do we best help those on the planet who are still stuck in their duality?
We thank you. We thank you for this question. And we would say for those who are standing strong in their resistance to what is change, who would not alter anything, who wish to remain as things were, they will struggle. They will struggle with what is coming soon, what is soon on the horizon, a great awakening, you are already feeling. It is already coming. It is already happening. And there are those who will stay in the frequency of resistance to this change. They will not alter. They will hold on to loss, the experience of loss, the desire to return to what was. And this form of resistance, specific, we name the desire to return to what was, to not let go, to not surrender to the frequencies that arrive. They will struggle. They will struggle not from the consequence of what is light, but from their resistance to it. And you ask us, how may we be a blessing in their experience? How may we help to open them, to help them surrender? And we say we must encounter them as they are, but you can offer them your prayer of surrender. You may offer them your prayer, and this prayer does allow us to gently guide them. It creates an opening, a space within which we have and are empowered to breathe a whisper of hope into their experience. And we are helping, and you are helping with us. And in this way, we suggest that you may offer your blessings unto them.
I love to sit in this energy with you. Thank you. There are so many watching right now. You may have answered this, but I'll ask you to answer it again, perhaps in a different way. So many here, watching this right now, are in fear. Fear for the world, fear for themselves, fear for their family. There's just so much of this here. What advice would you give those in fear?
We thank you. We thank you for this question. For fear, we understand in humanity for safety, the feeling of safety, the fear of loss, the fear of change. These are natural to your experience of living, for you have suffered loss, you have suffered lack. And you know these tidings may come again, and it draws into the body a suggestion, yes, a fearful suggestion that plays in the mind. And we draw into you an idea of change and surrender, to understand for the self that what creates fear is the suggestion of change coming, where you do not understand how it will be encountered, where you think to the self, I must do something, I must plan something, I must play at some action to prepare, to fortify myself against this great surmounting obstacle, which I cannot understand. And in the not understanding, it generates fear, and you turn in a circle as one who creates chaos in their own self. Do you understand me?
Oh, yes.
We say that in this experience of understanding turmoil, that you may offer the self a pathway, which is to let go and harbor in the self the understanding that you are guided, that you need not occupy the self with solving a problem you have not yet met, and to instead be busy with encountering the now, in understanding that the energy that you create transforms itself as it is called into the next moment, that you may embody the self entirely in this experience of now and not occupy your thought with the future, that the energy you emit to focus on the now, to understand that it will carry forward and create for you a new substance out of what is coming. And it may look different. It may not be what you are expecting, but it will be drawn to you because of how you have engaged in this current reality. Do you understand us?
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Wonderful.
We thank you.
We thank you. We thank you for that message. And we want to invite everyone now to bring their awareness back into their bodies. And I'd like to let everyone know if they wish to connect even more with the beautiful angelic messages coming through Anne. Her website is AnneTucker.com. and her YouTube channel is also of that name, Anne Tucker, very simple. And the messages, as you can see, really bring us into such a present moment of now. And the advice that we received just then, we can apply immediately. And it has, I want to really thank you, Anne, for those beautiful messages.
Thank you so much. Thanks. It's great to be back with you. I would love to know what they said.
Well, as Anne, could you tell us what soul convergence is?
Yes, absolutely. Soul Convergence is a program that it's actually a brand new form of healing that I mentioned before, how they kept kicking me out of the nest. Well, this was part of that, as they said, okay, this is the new thing that we want you to be working on. And it's about bringing people into balance. It's which is my understanding is that we're moving into this ascension, that it's incredibly important that we begin to embody our full selves. That means connecting to our higher self. And in order to do that, we have to bring our masculine and feminine energies into balance. We've been out of balance, and we were brought out of balance by our conditioning. So our conditioning, we tend to lean sort of either one way or the other, whether we're a little bit more into our masculine energy, a little bit more into our feminine energy. And through this process of soul convergence, we work on healing those deep wounds, those deep conditioning from our past. It's an 11-week program, and during this program, you work through with gentle support from the angels to do years worth of healing in just 11 weeks. Yeah.
Fabulous. I really feel that it is time to integrate the masculine and feminine. It's so important to have that balance. And if you are interested, Anne has a very special offer on that. You can find that offer in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, just scroll below the video and you will see the link to that special offer. So what are the things that this is our last Healing Wednesday for 2023. What are the exciting things you feel are coming for 2024?
Oh my gosh, I think 2024, we've been in big years. We've been through massive transformation, but I feel like we are on the cusp of some really, definitely the world is being stretched and all of our systems are being stretched, and we see that. And that's when you talk about fear, that's why we might feel that. But the beauty in that is that we're moving towards a time and a place where we have more, they tell us we're going to have more of a intuitive connection with one another, where we have, for those of you who are empaths, imagine if the whole world was empathic, how that would change the world. There really is the possibility of peace on earth. If you can feel another person's feelings, that changes how two countries negotiate, right? And that these changes that we're experiencing ripple out in such a way that eventually we can get to a place where the angels say, in the long run, we, humanity, become the stewards of the earth. And that it's really, we are one country, we're one world, and it's about really taking care of everyone. It's not a thing where we have the haves and the have-nots. It's a place where, through this genuine care and concern that we have for one another, that we learn to be different in the world. And it's truly a shift in our awareness. It is yes, it's frequency, but it's our awareness that changes, where we become aware of ourselves as a collective.
Oh, I couldn't have said that better. And what an encouraging message for the year that lies ahead. All through that, I just kept feeling and sensing that oneness with everything is what is coming.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Anne.
Absolutely.
Great to have